Well, the war is on. Good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrated Preparedness. You've been keeping track of Trump's cabinet appointments. it is it's astounding as far as I'm concerned. If anybody, and I tell you what, it's good, but it's going to lead to some real interesting times. And I'm not kidding when I say the war is on. A lot of us, I think, before I get into that, I want to remind you of something. If you're stocking up, if you stock food, consider going to Funky Monkeys. This is not a paid sponsorship. I'm doing this. The guy who started this, he's one of our patrons over on Patreon. Uh, he's a vet. He's a retired police officer. He is a prepper. He is building his own stone mott in a secret location in Missouri, and he is a good guy. And he has started this business of freeze-dried foods. And if you want to, you don't have to help him out. He's going to do great, but you should be a part of supporting other people doing this and starting a business. Like I have always talked about how important that is. Increase your financial preparedness and increase your streams of income. And you can go to Funky Monkeys. Let's see here. FunkyMonkeys.com. FUNKYMONKIES.com. Somebody put a comment the other day, said, I Googled it and I didn't, it came to a different website. Well, just put in what I told you to. Funky Monkeys, FUNKYMONKIES.com. And order you some. Right now he's got the treats, but they're getting into a lot of other items. Our family loves these, and so will yours. All right. I hope I did that justice. I am not a paid spokesmodel. So, if any of you, like me, were concerned that maybe Trump wasn't going to be tough enough in his second term, I figured he'd learned a lot, right? But he's gonna play the fair game, and that maybe we just couldn't expect him to be as tough as we want him to be. Oh boy, I think he has dispelled those doubts completely. And for those who didn't vote or don't participate or whatever, you can just sit over to the side and listen because you're not a part of this. Okay, you didn't help any, and you're not going to help in the future. So, but you can learn. Maybe you'll join the team later. His appointments. First off, Tom Homan for Borders man, that guy is the real deal, and he is going to take care of it. Kristi Noem for Homeland Security. I think that surprised a lot of people, but the more I thought about it, yes. Don't worry, we're going to get to Matt Gaetz in just a minute, and that's where the war starts, okay? I was going to buy a T-shirt up in South Dakota. I love South Dakota. Her state, we had a great time up in South Dakota. What a beautiful state that is. And if I didn't live in Kansas, I just might live in South Dakota. Kelly said the same thing. She said, I'd like to live here. But I almost bought a T-shirt up there. It's got a picture of a bunch of the Indian chiefs, and it said the original Homeland Security. So this is kind of interesting. And the shall I say, the irony there is interesting, isn't it? Some good Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. Kind of surprising. I've never been able to take Rubio seriously because to me he's always a kid. I will never forget. I never be able to shake out of my mind that moment that he was looking at his bottle of water when he was giving the Republican rebuttal. Many years ago. And he was a rising star, and they always give the rising star the spot in rebutting the Democrat State of the Union, and it was his turn. And he kept looking over, and you could see that he was looking and looking, and finally he reached over very tentatively and took that bottle of water and took a sip and sipped it back as if he wondered if anybody noticed. I'll never shake that out of my mind. But, I said sometime back to Kelly, I said, that guy's sharp. He is smart. I think if he had just waited, if he hadn't run against Trump, in 16, or was it 16? I think so. Whenever it was. And if he had just waited, I think his time would have come, and his time would be sometime around now. He has matured, and the guy is smart. I think he will do. He has become I believe, a true Trump believer and supporter. You know, Trump has brought a lot of people, a lot of never Trumpers have come over when they saw how he did things. He made a lot of people believers. Uh, who else? Oh boy, this Doge Department of Government Efficiency. That's going to be something, isn't it? That's going to be something to watch. When you start scaring government bureaucrats with outside ability, and their strength is going to be, of course, they're not a regular department, but their strength is going to be in the public square. They're going to be able to put all the information out there and shame a lot of these people. Now, I know there's a couple others that I could go to, but I want to get to Gates because this is where it's going to perhaps start the war. He's already started it. Well, let's put it this way: I've said that the communists have been in a revolution against the American government, the United States government, since 2017. They've done a very good job, but the American traditionalists have not been pushing back. Never pushed back hard enough. Now I think there's a chance that we do, and that brings about the potential for some danger. Excuse me, just a second. I'm getting rid of this, but it's still hanging on. When he announced Gates as his attorney general pick, I was blown away, as were most people. And I don't think that most people know much about Gates. Oh, let me slide in here. Ted, no, what's his name? Hegseth, Pete Hegseth. Yeah, I would have seen him more as veteran affairs, but you know he's a real stalwart. He doesn't like what's happened with the military. He's going to have some problems. He's going to have some embarrassing moments in his confirmation process because of things in his personal life. If you don't know what those are, you're probably going to find out. But now back to Rubio. I think Hegseth, yeah, you'd be good. And hang on just a second. Had to cough a big one. Tulsi Gabbard for DNI. Man, what a great pick that is. You know, I've been pushing Tulsi for a long time. Since she left the Democrats. And I had a lot of people come back on me. I don't trust her. She's just blah, blah, blah. Whatever, dude. She is smart, and I'll tell you, she is what an American patriot is. Now, I don't agree with her on everything. There are some social positions that I don't agree with her on. Okay, how about that? You know, do you agree with everybody that you know on everything? I don't. But she's a thinker. She has come around. She's a very smart woman, and I would be shocked if she weren't the first female president sometime down the road. So that's a good one. Now back to Gates. Gates, like Trump, is a guy that I think most people don't know much about. You know, just like when Trump came on the scene and everybody was saying, oh, you know, he's just some TV guy from The Apprentice. See, that's all they knew him about. They didn't know about his entire life, his entire career. I did. I'd studied the guy. And I said, this guy is the real deal. And people have found out that's true. Same is true with Gates. This is a brilliant guy and a pit bull. Just because he has earned the reputation as being I shouldn't say the word on here, they'll get it flagged, but just, you know, a troublemaker. He's the one that got Kevin McCarthy out of there. Now, you can argue whether that was good or bad, but the guy stands for what he thinks. And he has had the Justice Department weaponized against him. You think there's anybody who doesn't have a burr under his saddle for the Justice Department more than him? Well, it's Trump, right? But I'm sure that's why Trump picked him. This guy is smart. He is unbelievably adept in policy. And don't worry, for all you people wanting to know about the war, I'm getting there. You see, wars come about through politics. And he just won't let go. And I was worried, as many of you might have been, that when Trump got in, there were a lot of people who need to be held to account, from the Bidens to the Clintons to the Obamas, all the way to James Comey. All of these people, the 51 communist intel heads that signed the letter about Hunter Biden's laptop, Hunter Biden himself, everybody who worked on the weaponization of the DOJ, Merrick Garland, everybody involved in the FISA warrants, all of these people need to be put on trial. And if they're found guilty, which they should be, carry the penalty. I'll just put it that way. They need to carry the penalty. And in some of these cases, I think that the charge should be treason. So, I don't think we have to worry about that with the nomination of Gates. Gates is going to do it. He's going to have a hard time getting his confirmation through, but I hear that they're talking about, recess appointments and things like that. But there's another thing there, and I told Kelly, I said, I wonder, because Gates is such a lightning rod, I wonder if Trump actually has somebody hiding in the background that he really wants, and he's put up Gates to draw all the fire, and then when they've expended all their ammo at Gates, he'll withdraw, and then Trump will put up who he really wants. I don't know. I don't know the mind of Trump, but I do know that I like this nomination. And if he's the AG, man, I bet there's going to be a lot of empty office space in the Department of Justice, and there should be. There should be. The American people should be served by their government, not persecuted by it. And this is a good step forward. Now, here and now we're getting to the war. Sorry. The Democrats are going to, even though they're quiet now, because they don't know what's coming, now they're starting to get an inkling of what's coming. And you can believe they're scared. They ought to be. And now they're trying to figure out what to do. Schumer's trying to figure out what to do. It's too bad we didn't get Tim Scott in the Senate. We got John Thune. I'm wondering. I don't hold out hopes, but Trump has turned a lot of people who were against him toward his side. He's an amazing negotiator. When people get to working with him, if they haven't already been ingrained in the swamp, like Mattis and John Kelly, which is why I think that Hegseth is a good pick for defense. People say, well, you need to get a senior Hegseth. Well, he was a major in the National Guard, and what does he know? Well, the guy's a very accomplished guy, very intelligent, and what does he got? He got a bachelor's from Princeton, a master's from Harvard. He's run. I know I'm bouncing back and forth, but it's all come together. He has run a nonprofit veterans organization, a couple of them actually, and he cares a great deal. And I would say this: for those of you that were in law enforcement, and it might be the same in the military. I don't know. Probably is. When you couldn't understand why the top brass was making the stupid decisions they were, because they had become so isolated from the realities of the street. They had become politicians, and they were, they weren't street cops anymore. And so they'd made decisions that made it tougher on the guys on the ground. And we're just stupid. And you'd be sitting around late at night talking to the other guys and say, man, if I ran this place, I'd, you know how it is. And if you really wanted to turn a department around, and I've known a lot of horrible police chiefs and sheriffs, give it to a sergeant. Give it to a sergeant who hasn't played the game, and he's still a sergeant because he didn't play the game enough to make captain. He knows what's going on. He knows what to be corrected, and he'll do it because he didn't care. He didn't care about making the rank enough to be kissing the asses above him, right? So maybe this is the case with Hegseth, right? Because you give it to these generals. I mean, above colonel, seems like they all become politicians, right? I don't think I've ever known a general. I've met it. I don't think I've known a lot of colonels, but I don't think I've ever known a general. So anyway, but I've seen them on TV. So now back to the war. Now the Democrats have to get ready for what's coming. And just like all commies, they're very good at combining political efforts and power with physical efforts and power. And that means riots in the streets. And that brings about the what next question, right? So what next? When they get in January, and Gates comes in and he immediately dismisses all charges against all the J6 people, and indictments start coming down on everybody in the Justice Department having anything to do with all of the unethical behavior. These people are going to be fighting for their lives. And the people they rely on to help them fight for their lives are, of course, the Democrat Party. They're the Democrats in Congress. And, of course, the deep state that is going to take a while if they're able to finally tear that out, uproot that out of the system. I don't know if they'll be able to or not. But the thing is, you set enough examples of what happens to people that you go after, and you'll find people who don't want to be gone after skipping, right? Ooh, not me. I'm getting out of here, right? You don't necessarily have to get everybody. You just got to get the right ones and make it loud and make it tough, and you'll scare the bejeebies out of the rest of them, and they'll scoot. So when they see this coming down, they're going to have a decision to make, and that is go along with it or fight back. They're not going to go along with it because they're still commies. They still have their 150-year plan, whatever it is. They still have the plan that is open-ended. We're going to keep fighting, in their minds, they're saying. We're going to keep fighting until we win. Okay. And this is where the eruptions may be next summer. I don't know. In Portland and Seattle and Chicago and Atlanta and who knows, wherever they start, and then when the deportations start, right? Now they're going to introduce the racism and everything like that. They're going to get in my opinion, they're going to get every self-identified marginalized victim class enraged and hitting the streets. And now we've got war on our streets. And that, of course, has been our concern with all of these illegal aliens that the Biden administration treasonously, in my opinion, has shipped in. And for that, he ought to be, everybody involved with that ought to be tried for treason. So, Matt Gaetz, if you happen to see this video, please charge him with treason. Televise their the carrying out of their sentence. So I think that this is, if Trump had just come in and kind of gone along and just kind of done pretty much, the basics that everybody would be satisfied with, build the economy back and seal the border and everything like this, I don't think this necessarily would happen because the Dems would just say, okay, we'll go through this, this too shall pass, we'll get our chance again, and then we'll just undo it all. But if he really does what it looks like he's going to do, they have no choice but to fight back in every way, and that means fights in the street. And that is something that I would suggest you get ready for. And it's something I'm going to be ready for. I've talked about that. I don't have to go through all of the what you do. Make sure you got everything at home. Make sure you got everything in the office. Make sure you got everything at your workplace. Make sure you got everything in your car. You should know that. Do that. But I tell you, this could be one of. I said before when this election was coming up, this is the most consequential election of my lifetime, and I think this is a time maybe unlike any since the early 1800s that this country has ever seen. This is the chance to turn America back around. And for all these people that say, well, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say. I'm not even going to go into it. I don't care. I want America the way it is supposed to be, the way it used to be. Oh, you want slavery, Steve? Idiot. Of course not. I want America the way that it's supposed to be. Okay. All right. So that's those are my thoughts on this. That a war didn't start when the first shots are fired, but the first shots have already been fired. I mean, this is one of those long running things. They were fired in the summer of love. But a war has many stages. It builds up. Look at any war, and you'll see that it didn't start the day everybody thinks it started. Look up the Civil War in Wiki, and it'll say 1861 to 1865. Psst, that stuff started in the 1820s. And it can be dangerous all the way around. So anyway, that's my thoughts. War is on because Trump is taking the stand that many of us hoped that he would. I didn't really hold out for it. I didn't think he was going to go this hard, but by every bit of evidence, he is. And man, can you blame him? I mean, can you imagine how ticked off you would be if they had tried to do all of that to you? Man, I tell you, if they'd done that to me and I got back in, you'd be able to see the scorched earth for miles. Okay. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. And you all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. We've got time to prepare. Just keep at it. That's what preparedness is all about. It's a daily thing because it's a mindset. It's not a reaction. Okay. All right. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.